Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make some muffins, but these are going to be wild blueberry muffins. I was able to buy some frozen wild blueberries on one of my shopping orders, and I thought that would be ideal for muffins. Now, wild blueberries have more antioxidants than the cultivated blueberries, and they have a stronger flavour. They're small, and so they don't have so much liquid in them, juice in them, but they have more skin, which is where the antioxidants are. So I like wild blueberries, but I can't buy them fresh in the UK, or I've never seen them fresh in the UK. So I bought some frozen ones. Now the recipe is going to be very straightforward, as all muffin recipes are, and it starts off by preheating the oven to 190 Celsius, that's 170 Celsius with a fan, 375 Fahrenheit. And I've lined a muffin tin with some paper cases ready to take the batter. So I'll go on to the ingredients, and for the ingredients I have 240 grams, which is 1 2/3 cups minus 1 tablespoon of plain flour. That's based on scooping packed flour into a 250 milliliter cup. I have 110 grams, which is 1 stick minus 1 teaspoon of unsalted butter, which I've had out and it's now quite soft. I have 240 milliliters, 1 cup of creme fraiche. You could use sour cream. You could even use buttermilk if you wanted to, or at a pinch you could just use milk. It's entirely up to you. But I'm using creme fraiche. I have 1 medium egg, which would be large in the USA. I have 200 grams, 1 cup of demerara sugar. If you don't have demerara or raw cane sugar, you could use granulated sugar. But the demerara sugar gives a more caramel flavour to the batter, basically. Then I have 1 cup of frozen blueberries, and I'll just take some out of the freezer that I've had stored in the freezer. So here's half a cup, and here's the other half a cup, which I've allowed to thaw out, basically, and that works out at 150 grams, so 75 grams frozen and 75 grams thawed out. And I'm going to mix these into the batter and then put half of these in later and then sprinkle the others on the top. Then I have 4 grams, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 4 grams, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, bicarbonate of soda, 3 grams, half a teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to use some pearl sugar or some sugar nibs to sprinkle on the top as well. And I'm also going to put in 5 milliliters, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract into the batter. So the first thing I'm going to do is simply put the baking soda, the baking powder and the salt into my flour, and I'm going to stir that around, and later on I will sift that over the top of the wet ingredients and then stir it in, so that those other ingredients get mixed into the flour as we sift. So I'll set that to one side for a moment. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cream the butter and the sugar together. And then I'm going to add in my egg, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I'm going to whisk those to get those fully combined. And as you can see, I'm using my hand mixer, but you could do it by hand if you wanted to. And then I'm going to add in my creme fraiche as well. And I'm going to, again, mix it until it's all fully combined. And so that's quite nicely mixed in. So then I'm going to add in the thawed frozen blueberries. And I'm going to simply stir those around, and the juice is going to colour the mixture, obviously. Just like that. That's good enough. And then the final thing to do to make the batter is to sift the dry ingredients over the top and fold it in. And once it's folded in, we can add our frozen blueberries and gently fold those in as well. So just fold that in without over mixing. So that's quite good like that. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about half of my, maybe slightly more than half of the frozen blueberries, and I'm going to fold those in as well. And that's good enough. So then I'm going to spoon that into my muffin cases. And I'll try to distribute it fairly evenly. As you can see, it's a nice thick batter. So with the batter in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sprinkle some of the blueberries on the top. And then I'm going to simply sprinkle some of the pearl sugar nibs on the top as well. If you don't have these, you could use granulated sugar or demerara sugar on the top, or just leave it off. And they're then ready to go into the oven. I'm going to put the muffins into the oven and I'm going to bake them for about 30 minutes, 30 to 35 minutes, until they've risen up and they've got a nice golden colour on top, and they're quite firm to the touch. A skewer in the centre should come out clean unless it encounters a blueberry, of course. So at that stage I'll take them out of the oven. and transfer them to a wire rack and allow them to cool down. And once they've cooled down, I'll come back and show you the results. I baked the wild blueberry muffins for 30 minutes. Then I took them out of the oven, left them for a couple of minutes, and then I transferred them to a wire rack to cool down. And this is what they look like. So I've taken the ones in the tulip cases out of the case. So you can see they baked up quite nicely there. And I've cut one open just so that you can see inside as well. And it's actually a nice light texture. It's not a dense muffin. So I'll have a taste of this piece. It has a lovely texture, and the blueberry flavour comes through very well indeed. Slightly tart, but offset again by the sugar, and the sugar on the top will give a little crunch as well. So they're very, very good indeed, and very easy to make, as are all muffins really. So that's going to be it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me a thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link below the video as well. And I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.